We'll have the film, and before that we'll have David Bates of the National Federation of the Blind of the United Kingdom, who's a blind person himself. He's a town planner or engineer, and who went blind later in life. So he's able to appreciate the problems, both from the standpoint of a town planner and somebody who's blind who has to contend with the problems that town planners cause. So David will introduce the film and tell you what, give you one or two pointers as to what to look out for in it, and then we'll go on after that to hear from other people, including the chair of the UN Committee on the Rights of Disabled People. But I can't stress, I certainly can't stress it while that aeroplane I can't stress too much the breadth of Sarah's vision and what she's been able to construct for this day, and I can't congratulate her too much on what she's been able to deliver. And I'm going to stop now and hand over to Sarah so that you can meet her yourself and you can see for yourselves what she has been able to put in place. So Sarah, very welcome, and thanks very much. Over to you.
Absolutely got to wake it up for disability and accessibility. I have got one major apology. Only late yesterday that the UN Skype has failed. The gentleman had to go to his own country for this day, and that's failed. But what I'm pledged to do is to basically get a recording of what he would say anyway, and we'll get that sent to you. Firstly, I'd like to introduce David. We met when we found a letter that our local council hadn't responded to the National Federation for the Blind about concerns in our own town, and we have spent many an hour on the phone, haven't we, David?
Yes.
Right. You've got 3 minutes to explain what you want to tell the audience. If you just turn around a little bit. So.
Right, okay.
You got it? Okay.
Oh, this is the microphone.
Yeah.
It'll pick you up there, sir. It'll pick you up there.
That's okay? Right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is David, and as you will realise, I'm blind. The problem that we have with the National Federation of the Blind is that other people, sighted people, don't understand exactly what it's like to have no sight. When you leave this room today, you will all make your way to the door, and you'll all use your eyes to guide your feet. If you don't have eyes that work, like I don't, you have to have a substitute. Nobody can walk anywhere without having some system of guidance. I use a white cane for guidance. This is my white cane. And on the end of it there is a roller. That is my eye, because my eyes don't work. So this roller, I scan across the road and the surface in front of me as I walk to pick up all the obstacles before I bump into them, and to pick up other obstacles and items which will tell me where I am. I can walk up the road where I live, a mile or so to the high street, and I use my cane. I can't see anything at all, and so if I drift to the left, my cane will drop over the curb, and if I drift to the right, my cane will touch the wall. So I'm walking up the straight and narrow between two boundaries. That's fine, I can do that. If I want to cross the road, I will find the crossing, I'll press the button, I'll wait for the beeping to start, and then I will walk across the road guided by the beeping that comes from the other side. If I cross the road at a crossing with no beeping, I will do my best to walk in a straight line, but nobody can walk in a straight line without guidance. So I will inevitably drift to one way or the other. I will drift off the crossing, and I will arrive at the other side at some unexpected place. Now, people have been walking this way for 50 years, and it works fine, and people can learn to do it, and we can learn to find our way around, no problem. But councils have now decided that they want to change the system, so they take away the pedestrian crossings, they take away the curbs, They raise the road surfaces till they're level with the footway, so there's one big, flat, complete, uninterrupted area. And that area has to be shared with pedestrians and moving vehicles. Now, there's a good reason for this. Cars tend to drive too fast in town, and so if you have plenty of pedestrians walking in the roadway, the cars slow down and the people drive slower. And that is the purpose of getting pedestrians principally to walk in the road. Now, lots of people feel they need safe footways to walk on, safe crossings to use, and as a blind person, and as other blind person in this room will tell you, they and I are frightened to step out into the road in front of approaching vehicles that you can't see and which have no obligation to stop. Now, in the film, you will see me and several other people doing this, and you will see the problems that we get into, and you will see that the cars don't want to stop for us. This is very dangerous, and it's scary to do, and we did it for the film, but basically blind people avoid shared spaces, and so we are here today not to try to get lots of money off the government and to get sophisticated systems. We are just trying to protect the freedom that blind people have had for the last 50 years. Can we have the film now, please? Thank you.
So to put people with disabilities centre stage and give them a voice, and we saw at London's hugely successful Paralympic Games last year, suddenly people with disabilities were in the spotlight like never before, and it really opened everyone's eyes to the challenges they face, also the heights they're capable of reaching. And most importantly, they were no longer a group that were on the outside or hidden away. And I think, in fact, there was quite a lot of blade envy on the runners because they looked so amazing in a way that people had never associated disability before. However, this isn't the case everywhere. When I first came to this job, I could see that while DFID was doing a decent job on disability in some areas, there was quite clearly more we could and should be doing more systematically as a department. People with disabilities are still disproportionately some of the poorest and most marginalised people in the world. And in DFID we say that we are trying to tackle poverty. It's part of the MDGs, halving those in poverty. You really cannot address poverty if you're not addressing people with disabilities. We've started to make this space. I am absolutely determined to keep the spotlight on disability in everything we do at DFID and in the upcoming new international development goals. I have to say the opportunity of the post-2015 framework for the new Millennium Development Goals is really a once in a lifetime, or a once in 15 years to be more accurate, chance. And disability was left out of the last MDGs. And that's why this time I would encourage everyone to lobby whomever they can across the world. Britain is already quite at the forefront of this with the high-level panel report, which has as its kind of overarching principle, leave no one behind, and that you have to have disaggregated data, and you can't reach a goal, a Millennium Development Goal, unless everyone from everywhere is across those finishing lines. But there is a long way to go, but only 18 months in actual time frame, and we really need to keep the pressure up because there are so many competing countries and organisations competing for different goals. But I think this is the one that needs the most support. There's been a little bit of progress, as I say, but there's still a huge way to go. Got to keep the pressure up, keep the spotlight on disability, so we can see progress and change in attitudes and in development over the next few years. Keeping that spotlight on disability, like you're doing here, Sarah, with the Sea of Change films, is essential. I will be taking every opportunity to put disability centre stage internationally. It's a very big challenge, but it is a top priority for me. Thank you very much. I hope you like the films. I'm afraid I won't be able to stay for them all, but this is the international dimension. I'm very grateful to Sarah for giving us the opportunity to introduce that.
How many cars make a traffic jam? How much noise? How much pollution? How does a blind person cross the road? How do we find a solution? How many MPs does it take to change a light bulb? How many benefits slashed and cut? How come the privileged continue to thrive? How long the waiting list now the hospital's shut? How long is a piece of string? How come you know why the caged bird sings? And how long until we finally hear the bells of equality ring? How much is free speech taken for granted? How can we hear the small voices? How does a blind person cross the road if the blind person has no choices? How does the light get in? How do you measure isolation in there? How important is a sense of independence? How important are the carers and how vital the care? How many signatures have to sign the petitions? How many press releases, updates and tweets? How can we raise more awareness? How can we make safer these streets? And how the spinners keep spinning the spinning, and how does the left hand not know the right? And how can you walk past and not do nothing? And how do you sleep well at night? And how would you like to be treated? And how can we all ignite the fuse? How come the disabled, the sick, poor and elderly are the ones who suffer cutbacks and blues? How can you shut the door when there are no walls? How can we educate? How can we unite? How can we combat greed, apathy and ignorance? How do we all fight the good fight? And how come everyone isn't treated equally? And how come we can't enrich and enable all life? How do actions speak louder than words? And how can words cut like a knife? I believe we can find the truth and we'll reap all the seeds that we sowed. But let's start by asking the question, how does a blind person cross the road? I'm going to go limp on my high expectations and dream small dreams. I'm going to go limp on my high expectations and dream teeny, teeny, tiny, tiny, tidy dreams. I'm going to stop going over the top. I'm going to reel myself in. I'm going to teach myself to stop before I even begin. I'm going to stop getting carried away, you know, with wanting my own way, with having a say. I'm going to dream small dreams. I'm going to have no expectations, no more daydreaming my days away. You know, you could write my teeny, tiny, tidy dreams on a grain of rice, on a piece of ice, on an ant's eyelash, on an amoeba's moustache. Because I know that everything that happens for a reason, and that's a good reason to stop anything happening. Stop anything happening. Stop this dream. I'm getting off. I'm going to have low expectations. I'm going to have no expectations. I'm going to have no expectations. I'm going to go solo. I'm going to go solo. I'm going to dream small and achievable dreams. I wanted some milk. I went to the shop. I bought a pint of milk. My dream is achieved. I'm going to go limp on my highfalutin expectations, I'm going to dream minuscule dreams. I'm going to take small steps. I want to take tiny steps. No, I want to take steps backwards. Can I please take steps backwards, 2 steps backwards and no steps forwards? In fact, why don't, who's this? Ring, ring. Ah, it's the dream police. Hello, dream policeman. Why don't you come and sit on the end of my bed and tell me what to dream at night? Sit on the end of the bed and tell me what to dream at night, just so I know I'm getting my dreams nice and small and tidy enough for you, all right? Nice and small and tiny and tight enough for you, all right? No, I'm going to stop assuming people have the same priorities as me. I'm going to stop pushing and pulling the forces around me. I'm going to stop expecting people to have the same energy as me. I'm going to stop expecting people to have any energy. And I will not resent this. I will go with the flow. I'm going to go so slow. I'm going to go with the flow. And I'm not going to swim against the tide or upset the apple cart or make any waves. I'm just here for the ride. Why don't you take a photo, tag it on my Facebook. This is a picture of me giving up and letting go. I had a dream, past tense, had a dream. I had a dream, but it was so small and undernourished it's barely worth mentioning, you know, because I'm no longer frozen by fear of success and I'm no longer frozen by fear of failure, because I expect neither success nor failure, because it's the taking part that counts and I'm fine with that. I'm going to weaken my grip on wanting anything. I'm going to stop holding on to my high expectations, my fancy schmancy dream, my great expectation that we could do better, that we could pull in the same direction, that we could give more, that we could do more, that we could be more. I challenge nothing. I challenge nobody. It's fine. I accept it all. I accept all of this. I accept everything. I'm going to take life as it comes and accept my hand. I'm going to take myself home and I'm going to lock myself in a box. I'm going to lock that box in another box, lock that box in another box with a padlock. With a padlock, I'm going to lock that box in another box with another box and a padlock with another box. And lock that box inside another box with another padlock and another box inside another box. And I'm going to sit there in the glow of no hope, of no change. And I will perhaps one day forgive myself for giving up. Thank you.